Turns out I can only do 5-minute videos with this particular program, so they're going to be short and have a lot of them. So, asexual reproduction. Hopefully you understood what was going on before. So with asexual reproduction, that is a type of reproduction which offspring arise from a single organism. Produced by mitosis, and offspring inherit the genes of only one parent. The offspring is genetically identical or uniform to the parent. That means it is going to be exactly the same as what you are going to be as the parents. So, mitosis is how your cells actually reproduce. You start out with one cell, it then splits in half, and you end up with two identical daughter cells. So, this is a type of cell division, two daughter cells, and they have the same number and kind of chromosomes as the parent cell. Different phases before becoming clones of the parent. Clones is the part that you should probably remember right there because that means their DNA is the exact same. Now, there are a few types of asexual reproduction. We're going to go through each one of them. Binary fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, vegetative reproduction. The first one, binary fission. This is common with prokaryotes, which is bacteria. Bacteria are able to reproduce extremely quickly. And then some single-celled organisms with a nucleus can do this as well. Not too many. So, fully grown parent splits into two halves, producing two new cells. So we have a fully grown parent right here. We're going to see a doubling of the DNA. That's what this squiggly stuff is in here because it doesn't have a nucleus. That's going to split in half right there. Half the DNA is coming here, half's here, but it's okay because they're exact copies of one another. And then the cell is going to split apart. And then you have two identical daughter cells. That's binary fission. Bacteria, amoeba, euglena. I have no idea what a euglena is or if I'm saying it right, but that's how they reproduce. You're not going to see large organisms do this because large organisms are made of multiple cells. Next, we have budding. Budding is where offspring grows out of the body of the parent. Example, hydras. Right here you see a little bitty bud right there growing. It's going to grow and start to look more like the parent as it goes. Then, once it reaches a maturity level where it can live on its own, it will just simply break off. The DNA is the exact same between this one and this one. They are clones of one another. The only difference is the age and environment that it's in. Next, we have fragmentation. Fragmentation is where the body breaks into distinct pieces. So you cut this thing in 3 spots, you get 3 different pieces. Each piece can produce an offspring. Tissue regrowth due to regeneration. So if you look at this, you see a sea star right here, or a starfish, same thing. If you cut off a leg of a starfish like you see right here, you're going to see that it's going to start growing little tiny legs off of there until pretty soon it will be its own new starfish. Regeneration, piece of it grows off, not a huge chunk like you'd see with the other, but you just see a small piece cut off of there, and that small piece will grow into a new organism, such as a sea star, sea cucumbers, etc. And then the last one is vegetative propagation. New organisms arise without production of seeds or spores. You have a little offshoot going off right here. That one there will start to grow its own roots. And then if you cut off that right there, this will be its own new plant. Even though the DNA is identical, you can see there are differences based off of age and the environment that it's in. There are a couple different ways. It can have a shoot off like this. It can have a root that comes up and just pops up. And then you end up with a plant off of there. That's kind of how the quaking aspens reproduce. A root comes out and grows, and then a root comes out and grows, and you can cut any one of those off, and they will then be their own unique plants. So, a fully grown parent cell splits into 2 halves, resulting in 2 daughter cells with the exact DNA as a parent. What type is that one? Parent cell breaks into pieces, and each piece becomes a new offspring. Which one is that one? Aspen trees often reproduce using what type of asexual reproduction? Offspring grows directly off the parent and then breaks off from the cell called what? Hope you know these before you move on to the next video.